In this video, I'm going to give you a complete list of everything you'll need, all the tools, supplies, and hardware to successfully complete a professional art installation. Now, this is my absolute minimum amount of supplies that I would bring to any job, sort of going under the assumption that you don't quite know what you're going to be dealing with, but you know it's going to be an art installation. This is how you would want to show up to any professional job, whether it be a gallery, a museum, a designer, art collector's home, any of that kind of stuff. This is all of the items that you're going to want to definitely have with you. These things are in no particular order, but I like to think about it whenever I'm making my list of what to bring chronologically. And so the way that mine are generally arranged is by starting off with I'm going to walk in the door. What's the first thing I'm going to need? And then what's the next thing that I'm going to do? What does that require? What does that require? And just to be able to visualize it chronologically like that helps me a lot when I'm making these kind of lists. We're going to start with supplies. I created this list specifically for this video, and at the end, I'll tell you where you can get it. First things first, shoe covers. I have two different kinds. These are normal disposable shoe covers. If you have feet that are larger than a men's 9, absolutely order extra large. These are waterproof shoe covers. They're great in Chicago because we get a lot of snow and you don't want to track it through a client's house. Next up is nitrile gloves. I like the black ones. I think they look cool. And when you're ordering them, definitely pay attention to the size. They go from extra small to triple XL. Make sure that you don't get anything less than 8 millimeters thick. Otherwise, they're too thin and they just disintegrate. You'll definitely need a tape measure. I like to keep mine pretty small, and I like the ones where you can stop them with your finger while you're using them. You'll definitely need a roll of blue tape. It's for marking where pieces are going to go on the wall and for catching your dust if you have to put anchors into a wall. A good pencil is also super necessary. And also make sure they have a really good eraser because you're going to want to take your marks off the wall before you hang up the piece. So a ladder would always be best, but at least bring a step stool or something that would get you high enough to hang up something above a fireplace. It obviously depends on how tall you are. This is a little 2-step stool, easily goes in any car. If you have the room, just bring either a 6 or 8-foot ladder. A couple of nice, clean blankets. You definitely do not want to bring the dust from your last job, so make sure that they're clean and shook out. Also, if you're going to buy them, do not buy the economy blankets. They are way too thin. You're going to be using blankets as a layer of protection between your tools and your ladder and the client's floor. If you're going to be dealing with a bunch of flat artwork, you definitely need a bunch of foam blocks. And you need at least 3 or 4 per piece, 2 on the floor and 1 or 2 against the wall. So a box of foam blocks would be a great one. Absolutely mandatory is a magic eraser. You definitely want to leave the walls as clean as when you got there. You're going to need a notepad for your measurements. I like using a sticky pad because the adhesive is not strong enough to do any damage on anything. A microfiber cloth. Lots of times you'll be hanging up artwork that has been previously installed and it's very dusty. Anytime you can leave something better than when you found it is a bonus. Trash bags. You're always going to be generating at least a little bit of trash and you definitely don't want to leave it behind. Now we're moving on to the tool list. This is a box cutter. I like using the ones with the longer blades in case you have to cut something deeper, and also you can just snap off the tip of it and it's instantly sharp again. You always want to have one with you. It's a utility knife. Next up, a hammer. Obviously, it's going to be for putting the hooks into the wall, for putting the anchors into the wall. You absolutely positively need one. And it doesn't need to be a big hammer. This is a 12-ounce hammer and it works perfect. Small level, large level. Small level is after everything's all hung, put it across the top, make sure everything's perfectly level. Large level is going to be during the process when you're hanging up your hooks and everything else. You definitely need both. This is a magnetic stud finder. It actually doesn't come up that often because we have anchors and everything else, but it definitely will come up, so you should have one. Electric screwdriver. Definitely make sure you have extra batteries charged with it. Definitely make sure that you have a driver kit and a drill bit kit. Make sure you have more than one Phillips head bit. It's the one you're going to use most often, and they do occasionally break. The two most important drill bits that you're absolutely positively going to make sure are in your kit are a large one for drilling the holes for anchors and a tiny one for pilot holes so you can drill into the wall and see what's behind it. Next up is the scratch awl. It is my favorite tool, and you can check out our whole video on the scratch awl. You do need it. It is for putting anchors into a wall and not making a mess, and it's awesome. Okay, on to the hardware. If you don't know the size of the artwork that you're going to be dealing with, you need at least a handful of options. Assuming that you're going to be dealing with flat artwork, you need florets. 1-pin florets, 2-pin florets, and 3-pin florets. You need all of these because of the different weights of the artwork. Make sure you don't forget the pins for the florets, and they do come in different sizes and they look very similar, so make sure you have the right ones. Lots of artwork comes without hardware behind it, so you need to bring D-rings. It's good to have a couple different varieties. This is just a 2-hole D-ring and a 3-hole D-ring. Also, make sure you have the small screws that go with the D-rings. You're also going to need at least a few options of wall anchors. The obvious ones are number 6 and number 8 wall anchors and screw-in anchors. These also have particular screws that you have to use with them, so make sure you bring the corresponding screws. Being a professional is about doing the tiny things. Putting rubber bumpers on the bottom corners of flat artwork after you hang it, that's a wonderful tiny thing, and you should do it as often as you can. The next couple things on my list is drinks and snacks. Obviously, you need to stay hydrated, and lots of times you're on a job site, you can't leave, it's long hours. Bring some snacks. You'll thank me. Last but not least, and like I said, chronologically, right before you leave, take a look around, make sure you've cleaned everything up. Cordless vacuum for any dust you might see, especially around the little bottom cracks of the walls. That's everything that's on my list. Like I said, this is the minimum amount of stuff that you're going to need for any professional art installation. And there is a copy of this list available on properplacementstudio.com. You can download it there. There's also links to a whole bunch of other information and our other videos. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have questions about any of this stuff, or if there's any other videos that you want to see in the future, please put it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.